Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let it go, yeah. Let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah. Help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Go, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give it all to Jesus. Let it take control. Just say to worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if they say you will continue to be a zogo, if they say you will continue to be a prostitute, if they say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If they say your knee is borrow, some go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny, ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man.
Well, folks, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Z, and so right here at the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you to today's editions of Conversations with the Liberal Progressive, Samson Bloko Brown Tour. In the meantime, let's take you in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia to a gospel artist, Jemima Walcott voice fading away and hovering right here on Lpr-Tv. Good evening, welcome.
There is power in your blood. Now, while I'm giving praises, yeah, I got a din that David did. They think I'm getting crazy, but leverage how you make it, brother. May not be here. Say every time I sin, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for.
We want to welcome Moses, Woman, Johnson, Timothy, Gofflet, Ambassador Greaves, Arrot, Reed, Unbreakable Tape. I love that name. Of course, Marie, our primetime valuable listeners, we want to welcome you from Sharif, Titi Nimlin, and the list goes on. How many of us willing to let it go in Liberia and right on our own feet?
Let it go, let it go, oh, let it go, let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Your people are suffering, lying in the hospital, suffering from all cancers.
Oh my goodness, how many of us realize people are suffering, lying in hospitals and are having a sleepless night, not even getting their daily meal? Oh Lord. And the politicians and those claim to be advocates gambling the lives of our people.
I say you spirit of suppression.
The spirit of suppression, we gotta let it go.
Spirit of denial, spirit of depression. Let it go, man.
Just do us a favor, just hit the share button and invite someone at your company. This is the Liberia Public Radio. The entertainment making the news proportional.
Let it go. Your best friend take a horse. Let
Oh, I'm not sure whether somebody can let that go.
Your husband say you no matter, just let it go.
This is a problem we have. How many of us are willing to let go? Welcome our man Frederick.
Your mother they kill your father.
And Grace Bogate, you are also welcome in the house of Lpr. All views and opinions are welcome. However, we ask you to keep it in a safer context. And welcome David. Time check here on the East Coast is 8:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alfonso Zayan Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers, listeners across the globe. USA, Africa, Europe, Asia, and on planet Earth. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Let's get the program going.
They pour you for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless.
Good evening, good evening. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Zayan. So right here to the Liberia Public Radio, as usual, to your anchor and presenter here at the New England Bureau Deck. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners. Thank you for your time, your spending with us here. We so much value to your time, your energy and the passion, your resilience that's still in place to keep the spirits of the Liberianization policies into place. However, this is the Liberia Public Radio. We discuss the issues, try as much as possible to keep a fair balance and proportionate, not necessarily things that you want to hear. This is not an amusement center. This is not an entertainment center. We do not create a political satire on this network. We keep it more proportional and look at the facts and give everyone the opportunity to have a conversation. And not you, the electors and the Liberian people. There's no way we can exclude you out of this process. You have a much bigger stake than these politicians and these advocates because they are in it just for themselves. They profess to be the guys that will change the narrative. But that seems not to be happening right here, right now. And so where are we going as a country, as a people, as a nation? We are saying a scenario has been created. So the key question here, where are the other political actors? Media loves what is moving concurrently. It's what is we consider as news in the media industry. And that's quite correct. And so this whole Elizana Cummins, the ALP saga, it has taken hold of the media industries in Liberia, and a lot is unleashing, is coming out. But what should be the strategy now of the other major political actors that are also aiming at this building here? The executive mansions, which is the official residence of the President of the Republic of Liberia, built under the presidencies of William Vacanra Shadrach Tutman, which of course the 8th floors is the official residence of the President of the Republic of Liberia. The building is still since the 80s, where for the first time the sitting president was killed. That's building to renovations and it's still ongoing. Millions of dollars been spent into that. We yet to hold our politicians and state actors accountable as to how. But this is the center of gravities in the political landscape of Liberia. This is where everybody wants to go, for which we have millions of political parties. Bottom line, they are seeking for the higher office of the land, which of course under the banner of our constitutions, they do have the right. But it is we, us, the Liberians and the electorate have the absolute power to determine the fate of these politicians that are so in desperation to take over state power. And it is a good thing to reside over the state resources because the gavel is right into your hands. But what is the authenticity they are bringing to the table? Liberians, electors, people in and out of the country are keeping close eyes on the political process in Liberia ahead of the 2023 presidential. It's going to be a major presidential. It's going to be a major election simultaneously. The three major elections, both the lower, the upper, and that of the executive. So everybody going to be crying their own cry. Everybody going to be doing their own thing. What then happens in the eyes of the four major political parties coming together? My guys are standing by. The most liberal on this network, Samson Blaku Branto, is here. Hopefully, the man from the far right here is also here, based in Atlanta, Georgia. And our man, Marcus Weir, is a moderate. Is based in Nairobi, Kenya. I will be joining the conversation here as well. We're going to be having a conversation very shortly. What is happening? I'm Alfonso Z, and so I will be right back. It's taking it unprecedented turn, and is going to get ugly comes the 2023 presidential elections. There were four major political parties came together under the banner of collaboration. Political pundits and others sees this as uh, that it wouldn't have survived. Knowing the history of the collaborations in past years within the Liberian politics, it was just very difficult for one to grab it, to make sense out of it, that these things will have reached this far. Here we come, not even in the middle of the process, the whole thing is torn apart. This is a crazy scenario that have let the electorates down because these collaboration parties were seen as alternative to the CDC. Here we are, it's falling apart. One of the collaborators is now being allegedly accused as criminal or someone who illegally tamper with the documents that has to do with the framework. This is quite amazing. We have not heard anything from the Election Commission, is because it is the institution that presides over electoral process, and it is the Election Commissions that gave these political parties this sort of framework status. So I am curious here to know this document. If this document was a fraudulent document, why should the collaboration should still be in place and one person is leaving the process? This is quite fascinating, and we will follow the lead. Okay, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. The house is in full attendance. Our political pundits and analysts, commentators, they are all here to summer across the length and breadth of the planet Earth. Right here in Saxton, Sacramento, is the most liberal progressive on this network, Samson Blaku Branto is here. Let me just bring him in. He looks so great and good. This event, the liberal progressive is here. The liberal that's conversation with Samson to he's still in training sessions, unable to conduct and execute what he should be doing as anger. I don't care what you're showing me. What you are your Christmas chain or New Year chain? Is that a Christmas?
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you very much for bringing me on again. And this is a conversation with Samson too. Of course, I am Samson too, but I'm letting you run the show as usual. as usual. But I'm a liberal. I'm not about ready to
Can you
please.
tell the audience why am I running the show on your behalf?
That ain't anybody business. That ain't anybody business. Don't worry, but I want that. Just run the show.
Yeah, he not paying anybody
I
more.
ain't pay anybody more. Just run the show.
This guy is a complete
What
man.
I know, I know. Just run the show.
Okay, let me bring in the man from the far right base in Atlanta. The Trumpers tried to take down the election, but I think Amos George, or one of the guy working with the Secretary of State, said no, they're not going to allow this happen. Our man, we will be coming on. It seems to be a little bit technical problem. Mr. George, good evening and welcome.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening, Mr. Samson Blokuto.
Yeah, the
Good evening,
labor.
Mr. George. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for coming on again. I mean, this is what we do here on Liberian Public Radio. I mean, we always try to enlighten the public, and I think let me just be. I'm sorry that Mr. George is. I mean, Mr. Weir is not with us right now. Hopefully, you'll be joining us. But I just want to say this
Keep
here on a very
coming.
serious
You
note.
were so
May I
mean to the
say
guy
something,
yesterday.
please, Mr.
You
So?
were so
The
mean to
show
the guy
just started.
yesterday.
Now you're getting ready to kick this. Let me just say this here. Mr. George, Mr. So, and Mr. Weir, I really do appreciate you guys, us coming out here night after night and try to enlighten the people. We're not saying that everything we're saying here, that people should take it to the bank, but at least we're here to have conversation about our country. And one of the interesting things that I've noticed ever since we've been ongoing to how many years now or what have you, not one person, not one of you, or not even me, that will say things in anger and use language that is not of human nature, so to speak. Even if we don't know the language, we don't know the English, and sometimes then I go to cry. But I will not come out here. None of you, any of you, will come out here and use language, vulgar language, to describe each other. And I know Mr. George have, from time to time, have getting tipsy with a lot of issue here, but he has the ability to control. He has the ability to compartmentalize and use the
Oh,
language
yeah,
that
we
would
can't see.
describe what is happening, his emotion without insult. And that I want to take up my hat and say I appreciate you guys very much. And let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. This is not entertainment. This is a platform, intellectual platform, and we're here to disagree and sometimes agree. And I like that when Mr. George come my way, my liberal way, and leave his platform of central right platform and join my liberal core. Sometimes I enjoy that, living with the far right in the cold as usual. Mr. George, welcome. Let's have a beautiful show, please.
What is the strategy of this introduction of the occasion here this evening?
You're not hosting the show yet. You're on
Oh,
vacation.
I've been impressing you up. That's how we're gonna start the show.
Uh,
I've been
I don't,
impressing you all the way. You tell me that
you
you're not
know,
moving forward from here.
look,
Request over, man.
something. When our precious and valuable follower, when they come here, they want to get the piece of the pie. Their your introduction, United Nations address from Total here on LPR, it's not going to work. Nobody likes you. The people you have tried, this guy, people sent me inbox yesterday. Pressing this man here. Can you imagine?
But what I was saying, there was a guy flying in the bush. So
Yeah, unfortunately, it is why it
the
is.
devil
But
got
what I
friend.
see, yeah, most of the time. But the other guy said the only thing I like him is other guy we wanted made a paper to feedback. So I said, okay, that's understandable. We will keep hanging there. Okay, gentlemen, welcome. To our viewers and
Thank you.
followers, we want to welcome you. Thank you so much, the man, Riverside Sport, and all of those guys, Morris Dolly, Renita, Mapu, and all of you beautiful folks into radio to viewers land. We want to thank you so much for your time, for your passions and of convictions. That's why some of the crazy things that we talk here, sometimes we go over the edge, but yet and still you are consistent and persistent to always be out there, not just only on LPR, every other outlet, simply because you want the best out of Liberia. And this is what we should do. However, this network, like what the Libra said, is not, we are not involved in entertainment. Entertainment is not part of what is in the media industry. There's a component of entertainment in the media industry, but we are here to share the news for us to dialogue what you think about your country, things that are going on and stuff like that. And this is why we're going to do. We're not just going to break any kind of news because we want to break news. No, because we need attraction. No, no, that's not our style. We don't just, when we break it, we talk to people and it is authenticated. So news breaking is not my that area. However, when it becomes necessary and compelling to do, then that's what we do here at Online Bureau Public Radio. We are very cautious of what we do here. The nomenclatures of this name reflect whether you agree with us, our views, and our opinions expressed here, but it does reflect the greater picture, which is Liberia. And just quickly here before I go to my guy, I was surprised. People that I didn't expect. One time I got to work, and these friends, they are not Liberians. But you know, anything, and this is why we must be cautious. Things that we say on the cyberspace, be it Facebook and YouTube and all of these new creations. People are watching, people are listening, people are paying attention. And so, whatever we do, we must do it perfectly to represent not just only ourselves, we see ourselves as a flag barrier to Liberia. So when we come here, we must try to look neat. We must try to give a good presentation. We must respect our audience. We must have that route of engagement, all of that. Okay, Mr. Nairobi, that's the name this guy gave you yesterday. Yeah, I don't understand the old man here. He's always trying to create all sort of stuff. Okay, gentlemen, good evening, good morning. And let me just quickly here, after brief consultation with the other folks, analysts, and we want to let our audience know we're going to be making an adjustment in time, and that is to be conscious and reasonable. Our man in Nairobi, what's the time there now?
The time here is 4:30, almost 4:30 now.
But why you be speaking at 4:30? You Nigerian man, like bro man, who are you? Or you Nairobi man? What
they want not come from you. I've long been wondering.
Why you 4:30 a day? You want all
the English said they were seeing like bravo, even not immigration, about ask for a long form certificate, birth certificate.
But they said when you're in bad time, you gotta live by the battle. You gotta live by the room. Okay.
So what we're going to be doing to our valuable viewers and listeners,
you guys are using, you are using Siri.
Okay, guys, let's get a show going. So just to let our audience know, we're going to make adjustment in the time moving forward. Instead of 8 p.m., we'll try to adjust it to 7 p.m. We want to be a little bit rational time for our brother who on the far end. It would be a crazy guy. I would be crazy when I freak out when I'm out 4 o'clock in the morning, so we're going to make that adjustment, Mr. Tawiyat, so as to do. But I want to thank you so much for everything that you do. Okay, let's open this conversation here. Look, it's just crazy what is going on right now. And I'm wondering what are the other political actors, they are alive or dead. What can they do to change the narrative? The Cummings syndrome, the Bernard Uriah to euphoria, has just murdered the entire political conversations. And that's what the media loves. What goes on concurrently or happen currently is what the news is, that what we have to talk about. So it is a challenge to kind of twist and wheel around the narrative based on what is happening. When you go on front page and all of that now, it's insane what is happening here. See here. And the media is so much strategic, both electronic and print media. Let's leak messages, Council of Patriot, WhatsApp chat room, reveals the collaboration between WEA administrations and the ALP in the prosecutions of Alexander Cummings. The government is working for us. So now, this is why we must be careful in our words. You know, the countrymen say the words is like a back of a tree. When it comes out, it goes right on the soil. And when the water falls on the ground, it goes on. And there's no way that you're going to get everything. There's some got to go underground because the water, the soil excess Exalt. That's the engineer. I try to do be his fatima here, the liberal progressive. So let's start on this here. Where is Twawangonglo? Where is Dr. Kase and all these other group that seems to be a political actors? Why are they allowing the Benana Ure coming scenario, these other folks to take the show away, and they are gradually getting to their own political demise because they are unable to reinvent and be able to get the attentions of the media? What the heck is going on? What are they doing? What should they be doing now? The liberal.
Mr. Solo, thank you very much. I'll take a little bit different view as usual. As a liberal, my view very much from a broad perspective as usual. Now, here's what I'm going to take on this here tonight. I have three important points that I want to make here. The first one on this particular question that you asked, it seemed to me the oxygen, political oxygen is being sucked out of these people that you name here tonight. Now, if these people, the CPP, Rambling, or whatever you want to call themselves, if they were smart, they will use what is happening right now. They will use that to their benefit. In that, at the end of the day, having had all of this free publicity, when we're talking about politics now, free publicity, they're smart. They will come back together, having had themselves at the peak of the media, whatever conversation that is happening in our country, they will come back together and say, okay, we're here now. Because from this point on, nobody in Liberia will ever forget Honorable Alexander Comey. Nobody in Liberia will ever forget Bernard Ure, Dr. Barker, and the rest of the group. But also, what is happening if you want to separate and say, well, the ALP and the ANC going to go? For me, from a publicity standpoint, I think the ANC is gaining ground because ANC, why they were popular, but they were not much popular in this stage. Now, our country people say, total people say, the knee going, ain't got bad knee. You do something bad, you need go. You do something good, you need go. Knee going got no different knee wound anyway. However, having said that, Mr. So, I think if Mr. Comey, because for me now, if Mr. Comey comes out of this unscathed, well, he's never going to be unscathed because they've already heard him a lot. But if he comes out of it on top, and he able to utilize this opportunity and harness the publicity energy that is within, that is on his side right now, I think Dr. Barker will do good if he can publicly, after all this is said and done, and Comey is now found guilty, Dr. Barker needs to come out publicly and apologize. That's my view. And apologize to Honorable Comey. And not only to save him Ure, but Ure should be rebuked publicly as well. And after Dr. Barker have done that, then you bring these people back in for now. People know who you are. Then people will, when you say, I want this done, they will follow you because you're being truthful. First, you apologize to the person, the victim in this case. Now people know who you are. Then people will, when you say, I want this done, they will follow you because you're being truthful.
Hold on one
First,
second.
you apologize to the person, the victim.
Somebody is listening. You gotta tune it down because okay, thank you.
Okay. So then having had the opportunity to apologize to the victim, in my view, the victim, then after that, and you rebuke whoever is in the process of stirring up these things, once you do that, I'm sure some people will reject you. But in the eyes of the Liberian people, I believe that Dr. Barker will be credible enough. In the eyes of the Liberian, in fact, some of Comey's supporters might want to rebut that, but other people, sincere Comey supporters, will see that as a sincerity on the part of Dr. Barker, and they might want to work with it. So this thing is very interesting if you look at it from a political publicity standpoint, Mr. So.
Okay, So let me go to the far right in Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Amos George. Is what I'm hearing from the liberal here? He seems to be pivoting in the on the other far end. I'm not sure whether it's a liberal approach he's taking right now. He's always on the caving end to kind of quiet down something, but he's calling for public denouncement or rebuke and all of that. Liberal doesn't sound that right here. This guy seems to be a confused guy on this network here. Every now and then he tries to eat crow here. Is that the kind of approach? Do you, first of all, do you agree with his view, opinion? Of course, we can question his view and opinion, but do you agree with him?
I agree with a little bit of his analysis. But here's the thing here. You're wondering, asking, where are all the other people? The oxygen is gone out of the tank. The government, she was unaware of what was coming. They didn't see this coming. That very message, the lead message that had come, caught the government unaware. Today, I called Liberia to talk to some people. My sources were telling me they called the Minister of State for President Affairs. They didn't get the call. The press secretary, he didn't say a word. The Minister of Information said he cannot comment. So that is to tell you what they were doing. The momentum they came with. That leak has shown everything on the horse. So now, CDC or the government cannot benefit from this thing right now. They have been wrong. Then some group of the opposition, like Yomli Kanga, they cannot speak. They cannot go in the public to do anything. Because by the time they get out there, this question will confront them. Are you supporting Benina Yure or Elizna Cummings? And you have to comment. So if you say yes, then now you look at it, but hey, what are you saying? Now how you treating me? If you say no, the coming people will look at you. They say, you see what happened? So this thing now cut down on the word, and they are now backed in the corner. They seem to go for Ambassador Boakai. Ambassador Boakai cannot say anything right now. This thing had drained everything. Anything they want to talk about, this question will come first. And they will not be able to answer that question. So now, that's why see now they are silent. No, they cannot say anything now. You cannot put, what kind of private release you come out to issue what? To say what? The horse is on fire now. You can't say, oh, we'll have a meeting. Okay. What is meeting about?
Okay, the horse is on fire. Let me tap into the expertise of the fire. Yeah, let me tap into the expertise of the fire service in Nairobi, Kenya, there, and bring in our analyst in East Africa, Mr. Michael Weird. Thank you for being awake this early morning hour. I ask a rhetorical question. The Liberal is still doing his salad dressings. He's being joined back by the far right. That I know there are conversations in concurrent. We're not even go 2 seconds here, things want to fall apart here. But that's not the point here. Let me ask you, hypotheticals is not my favorite because it's not really applicable in the in the media war here. But let me put you in the shoe of Tuawan Gonglo and that of Dr. Cassell. The Benanav Faga, the Ellis Kuhlman, the GOL allegedly been involved based on what we are saying, and other the folks now is stealing the show from these other people. They should be focusing on. If you were giving counsel to these people, what should be their strategy in order to get the attention of the media? Because the thing about it here, Boyka can't even say anything. I agree with George and all the other folks, because this whole thing has overshadowed everything, and all eyes on to Liberia relative to what going to be the decisions of the court, which my guess it might end up going to the higher court of the land, most likely if decision is to come down. We're here to do that. I'm not going to be a soothsayer here this evening, but I'm saying here to get the attention, and this whole thing, the Liberian people are being disadvantaged because we need to start hearing from these candidates the alternative, their agenda, their development, social infrastructure agenda, those who seeking state offices. We need to start hearing about it. Yeah, then every now and then to go into temple of justice, moving back and forward, crazy news being broken every other day on the social media, and that's what people love hearing. What should the Tuawan Gonglo, and Dr. Daniel Kassé, what should be their main strategy at this time to get back in the game?
So thank you so much. And I would like to say hi to all of our followers. I see over 332 people
Don't,
following.
don't do that thing here. Don't be that big
Yeah.
platform and this viewer. Look,
No, I just want
advertisement.
to acknowledge them, give pay homage to them because taking their time and then following whatever we discuss on a daily basis, on a regular basis, is a major sacrifice as well. And sometimes they go a lock ahead, but in the end, they still remain Liberians and they still come back to support the show. So it gives others you as analysts, indicating that yes, we are doing something in the interest of our people. Now, how be it? You asked a question that whether hypothetical or rhetorical, but the issue is that uh, Daniel Kassa, you talk about Daniel Kassa, who is the People's Liberation Party political leader. We saw that the other time they went for their, I think convention or primary, there was a major bloodbath and violence. So I don't think so. Also, they are different from whatever that is happening, So it's something that they have to handle because he's new. I don't like to use this word, but sometimes we have to do it because this is a new political party. And then what we saw, they removed the founding chairman, and then some official, the secretary, who happens to be Councillor Lesenberg Councillor. All those guys were with the UP, the Unity Party.
Mhm.
So I don't know whatever that happened. They removed those guys. I think those things, these guys took them to court or as well. See, so the wrangling and other issues within the People's Liberation Party too is a major issue too. It's very serious.
Oh,
Now to Tiawon Gonglo, to Councillor Tiawon Gonglo has to be serious. He has to be more serious, rather, because you cannot be, how you call it, having a major link with the Liberia National Bar Association and seeking to become president and also melt into politics because in terms of holding the government to fire and implementing the rule of law, you are there to also checkmate the government. And it is not in Liberia alone. Even in Kenya, we have the head of the how do you call it, the lawyers association in Kenya also is also vying for the parliamentarian post during this 2022. He's vying. So that alone, it hangs a dark cloud. The neutrality is not there, even if the law governing body decides to come up with a statement, it makes people to think that yes, their statement will always be political because the hair is too deep into politics. So now the issue of the other parties, Labour Party has issue, they have internal issue, serious issue. So are they free from issues? So the issue with these other two parties, ALP and ANC, is just an extended version of conflict because the conflict is almost everywhere. The only group maybe we have not seen coming on national or international media to also discuss the issue probably is the Unity Party. But the other political institutions you talk about, they got to have their own conflict that they need to handle instead of focusing on the issue of Kumis and that of Uri.
well, so it seems to me that no one is off There's no innocent child in this whole thing. Everybody, the entanglements is everywhere. You go left, you go right. It doesn't matter whether they are liberal or they are the progressive or moderate. The entanglements is everywhere. But it is interesting, and there seems to be an expansion of this, bringing in news revelations which we didn't anticipate see happening. However, we are in a very deep and volatile war, so we anticipate a lot of things happening right now. Is Comey having a good sleep? The liberal.
Well, Mr. So, I'm not too sure how. I mean, we're here just speculating because I don't believe that I can pick up phone right now and contact any of common people and they would talk to me. So I have no clue, to be honest with you. But what I can say to this is this: coming looking at it from a liberal point of view and looking at it from afar off, I think Cummings is having a good time. Not so much of the legalistic part of it, but in terms of politics, and like I stated earlier, if Cummings and his people are able to harness the political publicity that is coming along with this thing, I think they will do well. Now, going back to one other name you mentioned, Councillor Gonglo, I think Councillor Gonglo getting into this arena at this stage, I think from day one, I've always been against it. I've never made my feeling unknown. I mean, I've already expressed myself that I don't believe he should have. What I thought he could have done was to lace himself with one of the political leader who perhaps he believe will be the standard bearer. And once that becomes fruitful, that the party, whoever he's going to align himself with, becomes the leader of the Republic of Liberia, he then can go into the judiciary, which is another branch of government, where he can go now to try his best to try to build that institution from that point. Because if if he does that, if he does that, then I think his standing in the community of law will be cemented as far as I'm concerned. Now, Mr. So, let me throw a little liberal view on this here again. Let me say this. Uh, Honorable Cummings, Honorable Cummings, he stand a good chance because I don't believe this that he's gonna be found guilty. But what the kinds of news that we're reading about the involvement of CDC, the name we're hearing, and if these things are proven to be true, then how do you then try to connect the names, the Costa, how do you call it, the Honorable McGill, and the people are according to Trumpish Africa, Honorable McGill name keep popping up in the corridor of discussion of sanction and what have you. So is it Minister McGill is now trying to befriend Costa once more so that Costa perhaps they believe Costa have
Why not
control
you
of
do a
Costa
vice
have
versa? Why not you do a vice versa? Friendship is proportional. If I want to be friend with you, you must be willing to be friends with me.
no, but if Costa has something that McGill's want, McGill's most likely will try to offer friendship hands to
It
Costa.
is our violation to also accept or reject that friendship.
Yeah,
Why
but
not you
in
want
this
to balance?
case, but here's the interesting thing that and this is my own speculation, and these are my views. I mean, tied to it. Your hair fame and more, my hair fame you more.
Oh
There's
Lord,
nothing you
here we
can do
go
to
again.
me. I'm Blaku. Let me express myself freely. Now, speculation, of course. But here's the interesting thing here. If what I'm saying, if these things if they have any semblance of reality in it, which I believe they do because they're coming from me. I'm a liberal. Now, the point here is this, Mr. So. If McGill believe Custer perhaps has this inside track with this sanction business, perhaps Custer might be able to help and explain his side to these people who are doing this sanction business. Number one. Custer also think that he can benefit whether it's a long-term benefit or what have you, but that he also can benefit.
Okay, Mr. Speculation. Mr. Speculation.
Listen to me, Mr. So. McGill has an inside track with the government. McGill has an inside track in that he has connection with the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. And Comey is now being put in this wrangling where the Solicitor General going to be involved. So Costa is now, according to report, Costa is now suggesting that the government of the Republic of Liberia is working for them. So if Costa believes that the government of the Republic of Liberia is working for them to bring down the people or the person who perhaps they fear the most, then he will pretend to be a good friend of McGill. So this whole web is getting to be very interesting. And I think if I was in Comey camp, I'll be rubbing my hand. I won't even feel bad. I'll be rubbing my hand and say, come to Papa, because we will soak them. And that's exactly what Comey and his people are going to do. They're going to soak the LP, whatever, what's it, Bernard Euro Party. They're going to soak them, and including the government of the Republic of Liberia. If their hand is in this, Liberian people are not stupid anymore. They are very, especially the young voters. If they believe that this government is behind all of this treasury because they are pinning their hopes of freedom, they are pinning their hopes of political freedom, of economic freedom on the CPP, and if they find out anyone is responsible for the destruction of CPP, that person will be punished politically, Mr. So.
Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah, you always saying so. You've been saying so here for the longest. So what I didn't hear from you, who else going to be soaked in your word?
What's that?
I heard you saying Bernard Ure. What are the other folks?
But the case is not between Bernard Ure and Honorable Comey. Who else you want me to say?
Does it have any implication and any of the other political actors, the Liberty Party?
Yes, it does. At the end, at the very end. If this whole thing is settled, and if, let me say this again, Dr. Baka must, and I say must, I'm not saying will, shall, whatever, I said must publicly apologize to Cummings. Because all of this rancor, because here is another interesting thing. Hold on, Mr. So. Here's another.
Hold on.
Mr. So, let me point this out before you bring my question.
No, don't be jumping from one thing to a
Mr. So, let me point this out before you come in with your question. Few months ago, Dr. Bakai was on public airway when he said that this whole thing, this debacle is happening on a Cummings watch, and therefore Cummings should take the responsibility. I believe he said something to that.
And you blew that trumpet here on this network
as well. Now, here is what's happening right now. If this whole thing finish, who who watch? It is Dr. Baka's watch now. So if this whole thing finish and Comey is not found guilty, Dr. Baka must do the responsible thing as a chairman of CPP to publicly apologize to senior member of the CPP, collaborating political party leader of this part of the political party leader, ANC leader, must do so. Then, not only that, he must also turn around as a leader of a group. Be fair, be truthful. Turn to Bernard Ure and say, I say now, my word, say these things will not be tolerated under my leadership. You brought this thing on, the court have adjudicated this thing, and Mr. Comey is not found guilty. Find it within yourself to go and talk and apologize publicly to Honorable Comey as well. And if he doesn't do that, Dr. Baka should then turn to Bernard Ure and rebuke him and even distance himself from him as fast as possible. I say so.
This guy is in the process to confuse us here again this evening. He started with his all sort of target. George.
Yeah.
Here we
let me say though.
what we have here, we have Libra again. It's about to muddy the whole conversation with all sort of I say so. This one must apologize. He's not even telling us why they want to apologize. But yet then still, with all of these few little administrative policies, the chairperson of the CPP now, who is the elephant in the room? He was on this network. He's deliberate. We did a relay during his town hall meetings in Philadelphia, and he looked in the microphones of the, he looks in the eyes of the camera, and the Liberian people. If I get home, the code name that the Liberal gives him stabilizer. I will stabilize the situation. I will calm it down. I will quiet it down. I will soften the playing field. I will make this thing work, literally, and adding on to things that he has said. None of those has happened. We have not seen any step enough. If it is taken, maybe it's not as significant, it's not that enough. As the big guy in the room with all of the experiences and stuff like that. And yet we have the liberal here who was blowing the trumpet here that Comey should go on somebody and this one and do this. He's pivoting now. So I don't know who all he going to rebuke. There are other names that we are not hearing. Where is the liberal going with this talking point?
I don't know, because for him to say if Comey is not guilty, not found guilty, that Joseph Boakai, Ambassador Boakai, must publicly apologize
Dr.
to Cummings.
Barker, please.
Look, Ambassador Boakai, that will not do anything. The name is just another nomenclature. So here is the thing here. That will not happen. It will not happen. Joseph Boakai is part of this problem. This is why you see every one of them are silent. Joseph Boakai looked into the camera and said, it took place on Alexander Cummings' watch, so he should take full responsibility. Another ammunition, because it means that they all were on the same page. If Boakai at the time saying that Cummings should take full responsibility because they were on his watch, those are Boakai words. Not my words, it's on the tape. What were the message you were saying to Ben Yuri? One other thing say, go ahead, anything you want to do. That's it. And he said, as a Labour put it, he the stabilizer. I don't know what kind of stabilizer this one here. Because it's now on his watch, this whole organization are disintegrated. And he cannot speak because of the past statement he has made. So this is the problem. Let me pivot to the leaked audio. Leaked statement. Look, I must revive something. Said they have a dossier on Nathaniel Mangale, Benin Ayure, Terra Ayure, Serena Cephas. These are the 4 actors. They have now been implicated into this case. She made it clear that this is a book of charges they bring against Alexander Cummings. Those are her words. She had not denied it. The government had not denied it, nor comment on it. So what is GOL position today as we speak? That's why I said there's no see or hearing the case of the government, which is people need to make. Serena Cephas, the Minister of Information, the press secretary in the office of the president, nobody can comment on this story to say no pushback from none of them. The ANC is not benefiting today on all the network. I mean, 2 or 3 or 4. There was also ANC people on the network today in Morovia. Where is the government? Where is the other opposition? Where is Mr. Boakai? Where is Yomli Kanga? Where is Dylan? Nowhere. So this is something they are now on the defense. So the ANC people now, they are now taking the airway. Whether it's true or not, they are now speaking. making a case. Where is the government? Where is the opposition? Where is Joseph Boakai to say, hey, this is our position? And I continue to say, they will not come out. Because Mr. So anything they try to talk, this case was, the question was all of them. They're not going to leave them. So the best thing they're doing is to back up, to remain silent, thinking the Liberian will die down slowly. But this is the problem when you don't have people who have the skills of a leader. But because of sentiment, we crown everybody. Oh, this man being 40 years, he's good. Oh, this guy being 20 years, oh yeah, he got a skill. He got a charisma. He can handle all these things. Where is he now? Honor his watch. He can't say anything. Because past statement he had made, it is why Ben Nayuri is acting on. So where are they now? How can they come? Hey, these are the issues when we talk about. Be careful statement that you make in the public. Sometimes it's better to remain silent when somebody things come up than you speaking, because your words can be tied into something that you'll find it difficult to defend. And I want Serena Seaforth to come on the air now to rebut what the Trump is saying. When he come, because the other day you were on.
Yeah, let me bring in Marcos here. Marcos,
Yes.
you know, it's a risk for politicians and people who tries to stick high profile position to get into the locker here with print media, because once in the print media they have the skill to treat and restructure or use your own word in a special context by writing out something, and you're going to find it very difficult because these are credible outlet people. Nobody want to sit and watch a whole, like our brothers and sisters, to watch a whole video, but they go on to website, credible to website, and they can take 5-10 minutes to read. I don't care how long the story, just the captions, the beat alone, right? It evokes the attention that people to read, and they will want to know what exactly why it is. All what we are saying on that is coming out here. This is just unbelievable. Cummings, in his interview on OKFM, he said he was very vehement that the government is behind this in collaboration with Ben and Ayuri. That's what he said, that they were after him, conspiracy, and that's what he used. When politician uses the word conspiracy, it has a long implications and attachment in that itself. Now, saying all of these messages that were rolling over the darkness of cloud when we all were sleeping, when you are awake, we're sleeping, and all these messages were going through back and forth. Here we are. So, and we listen to the Solicitor General going on spoon. These people have said this over and over, the politicians and most of these people. You see, the reason the Westerners and the people in government, other places, people have spokesperson. These are people with strategic minds as to how to address issue when it comes about. And sometimes they just send a single tweet, and it leaves people to wonder exactly what that person is saying. But our people, because they love the camera so much, because they want to be in the face of the public so much, the things happen, boom, they are more ready to run like a faucet. He went on Spoon the other day and he started talking and talking and talking, forgetting to know he could be the lead prosecutor in this case here. Now, seeing what is happening, Mr. Costa himself, who's also have disrebuted the very government, why it is true, anything that happens that has a criminal nature, it is the government that will. It is glaring. However, if you are on the other side or have been on the other side, if that is in your mind, you have to get that political maturity to be very careful how you use or deploy your words. Front page is our print media. They know exactly when you say something here, they can turn it around. So you're going to be explaining, but you're not going to explain to everybody. Now, this is what they wrote here. The government is working for us. And I believe it's in response to his own podcast and given to reasons whether I would like the government or not, this and that. That's it's obvious. It's a government in charge. But that's not necessarily needs to come from out of you because you have said other things that you have not trusted the government in the past. So when you are at loggerhead with your opponent, and this guy has already accused the government and you, and to come back to validate his argument, that's just it's just unbelievable. Seeing all that is happening in the world. So who is technically in the absence of getting this court, I mean this case running? Who is not winning here a little bit? Where the public sentiment goes?
Yeah. The thing is that in politics there isn't permanent friendship. What do happen is that we have what we call permanent interest.
Permanent interest, yeah.
So yeah, permanent interest is always, you know, going on in politics. But again, the issue of Nathaniel McGill and the other folks in government having chats with some members of the opposition. Uh, yeah, you can have a chat with anybody because sometimes you want to lobby to bring those people over, to sometimes reduce some of the tension on you as a government in terms of criticism. The government do that, especially he being the chief of office staff in the office of the president of the Republic of Liberia. But again, the nature of their discussion it raises alarm, especially with one party of the from the opposition bloc being sued, and you being the government, you are the chief prosecutor. You have the you are prosecuting that case, and then having such a close chat, it might likely undermines the independence of the judiciary, the independence of the outcome, the pureness or whatever that comes out of the court, because people have already started presuming that yes, this case is going to go against Kumi because the government is. Because I listened to Costa, I tried to listen to him, but I didn't continue. His caption was Arizona Cummings is begging for mercy to be forgiven. You understand? So, I mean, how did he get all this information? Is that propaganda? Like Pat Joyce said, you know, and other people, the Ministry of Justice have somebody who is getting a salary to do public relation. All government ministry, they have people who are public relation officer in the communication department. But again, most of our guys believe that if they don't come on the radio, nobody is going to know that they are working. So you see, they have to come on the radio and discuss and talk, because the media is good and the media sometimes becomes dangerous. Because the little thing you say probably out of joke, the media can also quantify it and amplify whatever you've said in a different version. So I see a lot of hypocrisy. This is Costa man who criminally obtained a laissez-passer because he never had a passport was okay, because I believe laissez-passer is an emergency traveling document. So he obtained laissez-passer when in fact he just went from America straight to Ghana, because probably the document he's using, he don't want to enter with that document in Liberia, so he used laissez-passer. So the government, I mean, order his arrest. He tried to go to immigration, I think, on one or two occasions. After then, he Nicodemously left the country. But today, we are seeing him praising the government, that the government is working for them. So this is almost like a twist and turn, something that is ongoing, a twist and turn. So the public has to be careful who to trust, because Costa cannot be trusted. This is just a propaganda that he's using, and I'm here to see whether the government has consented that, yes, how do you call it, that the Minister of State is the one who owns that WhatsApp number, whether he's the one who did those chats with the guys from the opposition bloc. If that is true, we want to know his intention. Why has he decided to chat with those people concerning such matter? It's not bad to chat with the opponent, but in such a situation, you should remain neutral. So already, how do you call it? Mr. Cummings has accused the government of witch hunting. And I heard that some international organizations say this entire case is political. Yes, though it is a criminal charge, but the figure involved, they are political beings. So whatever that will be discussed, whatever that will happen, you will see some level of politics. These people are not preacher of the word of God. These people are not preacher of the Quran. They are all politicians. Yure is a politician. He has long since denounced to be a businessman. He's a politician now. Even the Kumis man now, he's not even how do you call it, a businessman now. He is also a politician. So
Okay.
whatever that happens in their cycle out to then, people will always politicize whatever that happens. But I'm yet to see, or I have not heard that the government has taking responsibility of these leaked messages.
All right.
So if they
Oh,
take responsibility, then we know
we
where to go.
okay.
But Marco, let
Let
me
me
ask
come
you.
with it. I come in. Hold on 1 second, Pa George. Somebody is finding it very difficult to catch their breath right now as we're talking. I do not have we do not have that sort of ensuring here to allow people to get their breath. How you call it here? Deliberate here, but this is what is just unbelievable. And I'll be coming to you, Libra, because you are all right now. You're swollen with pain. You want to vent, put something out. We're gonna give you the opportunity to do that. The chief of staff to Mr. Cummins, Xavier Tukba, I did call yesterday, even though he did not return the call. And that's the second part of these people here. They just fail to make use of media, and it's not just only the opposition and GOL. Because what is going on now? If it was the day of the late C. Alenzon Kape, Emmanuel Buya, Moses Washington, Lamin Warite, all of these gurus in the media that once upon a time our at Ministry of Information, Gaswa Yamento, Patrick Cummins, former presidential press secretary right here in Minnesota. If it was the day, though who was a military and later on transition to whatever it is, at least some sort of statement. I'll look on the official website, because when this thing comes about and you just become silent, dominantly silent, you can't say anything, you can't tell people anything. Itself is dangerous. You leave us with apprehension. You don't have to come and empty all for us. It could just be a one, two sentences or one paragraph, and that's it. That the government or they will speak what they say. See what is being unleashed. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have more consignment. Because when they start texting, when they sleep, can stop them from texting. Even if they're still sleeping, they're still going to be texting. WhatsApp is more or less secure. So how these things all coming out like this? It's quite interesting. The liberal. I know when Mr. Weir was talking to you all, you're almost going out of breath. What is getting to your nerves?
Mr. So, good evening. I think this conversation is just about ready to start, and I think it's going to be a very fascinating one. As you know, I'm a liberal. I'm here as a counterweight. I thought Mr. Weir was going to give us some independent mind of his view, and this is his view, and I'm not here to say he has no right to them. Those are his view. What he's not entitled to is the facts. The facts are the facts. Now, Mr. Weir, I know it's very early over there where you are, and I know very shortly here everybody's going to be getting up and moving around. So perhaps you're anxious, and I understand that. I feel for you. But here is what I want you to know: the government of the Republic of Liberia runs a country, and Liberia is not a banana republic. Now, you say something here very interesting. The choice of words were very interesting to this liberal. Costa criminally obtained laissez-passer. The last time I checked, Costa has nothing to do with the government Republic of Liberia. The last time I checked, the laissez-passer, they have a bureau or department that issue laissez-passer. So however we're Costa obtain the laissez-passer, it's the government Republic of Liberia prerogative to issue, and I believe they did so. Number one. Costa, secondly, Costa has not been found any guilty of any kinds of criminal behavior. Nothing has been proven. We all been speculating. So I will expect your view as being speculative. I'm not going to go further than Mr. Weir. Let me just tell you, this young man you're talking about, Costa, just obtained his bachelor degree here quite recently, where he's able to educate himself. Now he's going for master degree. He's not a criminal. Costa is not, let me just say this, I don't agree with many of the things Costa says or does. It doesn't matter. Those are things he does and people love it. But I'm not one of those. But I'm not going to sit here and not being the way as usual and allow you to reign some sort of a freedom of will to wield your English language and the words of choice of words here as though we have nothing or we do not understand. Mr. Weir, let me just say this again. Why, Mr. Weir, why are you putting my, now we're going to have an echo? I'm speaking now. When you were talking, was no echo. Okay, let me be quiet for a minute. Mr. Weir, are you ready yet? Let me be quiet for a minute. Okay, are you ready now? All right, let me go on. Folks, I mean, this is what they do. It seemed to me, what I suspect of you, Mr. Weir, I think you will fit with these two gentlemen very quietly and very, it seemed that you're taking place of the one we have another gentleman here, the CDC professor, now he's gone. I think you're trying to take the place now. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that. But on the very serious note to say, Costa, a criminal, something that has not been jurisdicted. They have not gone to court. He has not been found guilty. Costa is not a criminal, number one. So let me say this yet again. Why I do agree with you from time to time, you're entitled to it. Those are your views. But I'm just saying to you, Costa, as far as I'm concerned, until the Republic of Liberia can come and prove otherwise, Costa obtained the laissez-passer legally. And they're trying to, he's so smart for them. They can do nothing to you. He's too smart for them. Costa is just too smart for them. And now, you're talking about Minister McGill and the CDC. I told you guys, they will do something good once, and then the next thing they put their foot in their mouth. This time around, they're putting 2 feet in their mouth. And I'm not too sure how they will be able to walk out of it. I just want to disabuse you a little bit in terms of Costa and the laissez-passer issue. Costa, I don't agree with many of the things he does and say, but he's not a criminal. I just want to say that. Mr. So, I can't believe that you will allow us to come on your platform, which you consider to be intellectual platform, and then accuse the most popular Liberian, second popular Liberian, that is, Dr. Weir is number one popular Liberian, Costa is second popular, but you will sit here and allow any of your panelists to come and accuse the second most popular Liberian as a criminal. Mr. Soul, Please police us, and try to inform us of what you think we need. No, well, you're not going to control our view, but that's what you do anyway. But I'm just saying to you that try to police us a little bit. Custer is
Where
not
you coming
a
from?
criminal.
So why are you rumblings and struggling again this evening? I should police you. Are you a baby to babysit you? You don't know what you're supposed to do? You want me to sanction people's voices? You have the right to counteract his point, which of course you have done. So why you want me to put? You're not even policed by the U.S. government yet. That is view. Do you have something to say, Marcus, before I go to Pa George?
The liberal is very interesting, and I like his rebuttal. But what I can safely tell him is that when Costa was leaving Liberia, did he use the international airport? That's the issue. So if did he
But
use
you're like
any of
he
those
can,
means?
he can, he can leave Liberia anyway. You're Liberian.
Yeah, he can
Anyway,
leave Liberia anyway, but he escaped. He escaped, and the government of Liberia came.
Mr. Weir,
And
can you
please
try?
listen. Please
Go ahead,
listen.
go ahead,
Please
please.
listen.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes,
he
people
has a,
will move to the next stuff.
yeah, he has a criminal charge that is hanging on him. Whether you believe it, whether you want to support it or not, he himself knows that he has a criminal charge. That's why, since he left Liberia, returning Liberia is a difficult thing for him. Now, nobody is saying you can have a criminal charge against you and you still attend school. Nobody is questioning anybody's educational status or educational background. He's a smart guy, I do know. But to see him today, the same government who he condemned over and over in the game, that the government justice system is biased. Today, he is praising the government, that the government is working for him, that his government is doing a good job by prosecuting Alexander B. Cummings. So there where I come in to tell you that he's very deceitful and also hypocritical. You understand? So he has a criminal charge. That is clear. Even at that, there was a guy who did that laissez-passer for him. Because all along, how do you call it? The immigration cannot attest of giving him that laissez-passer. So there is a fellow called how you call it,
that's the question.
Sylvester. He was arrested because of that. According to information, he was the one who sent that laissez-passer to Costa while Costa was in Ghana. So why he couldn't stay in Liberia to facing the same system that Kumi is facing?
Okay, so yeah, it is
Mr. So,
important.
may
No,
I
hold
just
on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why will you say I sit here. All of these people, they are actors in the Liberian politics, and so just how their names, just how other people's names are mentioned, it is obvious that we have to mention their name. We're not going to give anybody a easy pass here. I've had an interview with Costa several times during the days of Helen Johnson Sirleaf. You know, when we were at Voice of Juliet, whatever it is. Nobody have anything personal against him, but
Yeah.
we must just make an equilibrium when it comes to this sort of conversation. And that was just a little bit. And that's what I said. Most of these people they need advisors, but Liberians, politicians as a whole, they are not used to that. Why you think these people have spokesperson? The old man under the tree, you can't be the first to run to see the ugliness of the bamboo, because when it goes bad, that's where the big boy comes and fix it. But they want to be the fixer at the same time to be the doer, and that's why it's happening. Mr. George, you want to say something before we can switch again?
Yes. I, I just wanted to say a few things. Marcus said something, and I want to comment on that. For me, Costa is an alleged criminal. He is an alleged criminal.
Like the case of Cummings?
Eh?
Like the case of Cummings as well?
Comey has been accused, and Comey is saying like, bro, facing his charges. Comey has been accused.
Yeah, that's
But
a saying. Like he's still going through the process. I'm asking
yeah,
as equivalent to that of the case of Kumi.
yeah, Comey is being accused.
Hmm.
He's been
But
allegedly accused. He has not been.
Pacho,
Costa,
your network, your internet is crumbling.
Yeah, the liberal probably the Russian liberal
no,
probably inexistent.
It's
it's
like
not.
somebody is moving to your system.
Now I don't know. Maybe
That's the
Mr.
that's the
So,
liberal. The liberal told me you are
you
gonna
know,
have to.
he want to distract me. He want to distract me. But
Yeah, you bring me the Walmart out there now. Look at him.
yeah,
Look. You bring me a-
so this is weird. This is weird. This is what
it's
the
something.
government you're talking about. Costa arrived in the country. He went through your immigration, saw the documents, did not do anything. He stayed in the country over 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that when you decide to say, oh, we're not going to arrest him. Why didn't your government arrest him from the port? I answered the same question. You
No,
had
but
an
this
opportunity.
yeah, it's the thing. I don't want us to dwell on that here.
Yeah.
We have to give fair conversation to these things here. If I commit a crime today, and after 1 year, and the law find out that I am the doer of that crime, are you saying because it happens 1 year? Do you know how long it takes forensic to determine
No,
even the wrong?
so,
No one.
no, Mr. So, if you commit a crime, you can be arrested anytime. There's no exception. You can be arrested anytime. But my point here, there's very
Suppose there's no sufficient evidence at the time the crime was committed.
well, if you have some, if there's no sufficient evidence,
So I'm just
then
telling you,
no.
arrest comes about when the prosecutor have enough evidence to show to warrant your arrest. They don't just gather and arrest people. Even here, before
Mr. So,
citation or wherever they come to your door, then they must have some tips, some credible information that they can stand on. However, that's not what's going to convict you until you have your day in court. I am just only saying they might have enough to get the arrest going. So when something happens
every
here, and
arrest is different because arrest you must have a probable cause before you can arrest somebody. That is clear. I'm saying Costa issue. I don't want to even do all I can say Costa is a fugitive because he was served a rate. He was supposed to be put in immigration. So, yeah, but I wanted to respond to Mr. Comment about the GOL. The GOL, this story broke Saturday about this alleged leak. And Mangale, the jurist, seriously was sent Saturday. Today is Monday. The GOL has not come up to say a word about this leak. That tells something that they are implicated. Because if you respond tomorrow, why will you take the whole government accusing senior government official, not junior, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, in the office of the president, 3 days nobody can respond. The 3 days nobody can respond to allegation with credible names. That speaks volume about the government implication in this case. And the WhatsApp message you talk about, the message is clear. A guy from the ANC, I think
Yobo
was in the chat room. Yobo. In the chat room, where Costa posted the alleged letter leak from Benin into the chat room. It was when Mama Yaga started to question him. And that was the conversation.
Okay, so all right.
Not that it was someone who was in the chat room chatting with him. And that guy in the whole front page got hold of the story. I don't know. But that's what happened.
Okay.
Somebody was in the chat room with them.
So yeah, okay, just have front page got out of the story. Let me bring in the liberal here because that's what happens when you try to if you don't know how to go against the media, you are on a sinking ground because you can't, there's no one, you can't fight the media. I don't care who the heck you are. You can be the president of the United States. And then when you in trouble with the media, you're in a lifetime trouble because they will always retweet and restructure, remake your voice, even if it is not in that direction.
And
Let
you
me come
remember,
to the liberal. The liberal.
Mr. So, and remember, running and Costa last year, back and forward.
Yeah, and it's
Running
just
and Costa.
sometimes I see this sort of propaganda names type
Ah,
of name calling. Let me break in
ah,
let me
ah.
break in the liberal here. The liberal.
Yes. Well,
We
I was
saw,
just
yeah, I come in. Recently, Mr. Cummings, he was on OKFM, and we started out with in the conversation. Knowing what we're knowing so far, probably the most likely, and I'm confident, most likely, I'm saying this, you have to be very careful. Who knows? They are more consignment of this because this sort of communication, they are spontaneous one. They're not just something that just happened and then caught up, but there's a specific time. Based on what we know right now, the little that we know, we're waiting for all of the facts to come out in before the court of competent jurisdictions. And based on the Cummings folks' argument, because too bad, the chief of staff to Cummings came out and said, well, they Cummings didn't go to beg anybody this and that. Can we come to much closer conclusion that there seems to be some sort of collusion right here, almost similar to see what we happen here? You see messages coming from McGee, the ALP folks, and all of that. Is that some sort of a collusion or Cummings term it as conspiracy? Is it equipped to that?
well, Mr. So before I go into that, let me just say something here. Liberia and the Republic of Liberia and that of the United States have extradition treaties. So if the government of Republic of Liberia feel that Samson or any other Liberians have committed crime against the state of the Republic of Liberia, can request that person to be extradited to Liberia. There's no question asked. And the United States government.
They don't have extradition treaty. They don't have it. Yes,
Let me read.
they don't have it.
Let me read that to you. It is agreed, unless they have canceled that, but it is agreed that it.
Charles Taylor.
Well, I'm talking. It has not been read. I don't believe that the law. Maybe they have taken that out of the book, but they do have that on the book here still, I believe. But anyway, that's besides the point. I just want to point that out. And I'm sure if the Liberian government wants somebody who has committed a crime against the government of Liberia, if they want that person, they will get that person from here in the United States. Only if your government is sincere about the crime, and only if your government is not corrupt, and only if your government is not abusing people's civil liberty, then of course the United States government will help you to take care of criminal and whatever. But that's besides the point. Mr. So the question here is about what are these people, the charter they have in the whatever front page Africa is reporting, which I don't doubt the authenticity of whatever it is that they're reporting. But here's what I will say on that. I believe that if these people are truly involved in this, then they're not doing themselves justice, because Kumi is riding high on this thing, to be honest with you. Kumi is riding high on it because now Kumi is not going to be seen as many in the eyes of many Liberians as being the people getting out on him. Now on the Liberty Party, Bernard Euro Party, Unity Party, Dr. Bakar, and now the government of the Republic of Liberia are going after this one individual. Then the question now becomes to many of us, what exactly Kumi have that these people are going after? Number one, is it because Kumi refused to go out? I mean, to be second to according to report, second to Dr. Bakai, and people have been writing here.
Because you were blowing the trumpet here on this.
Mr. So the liberal, when these two gentlemen were speaking, you didn't interrupt. When these two because I know you have them in your corner. I respect that, and I'm not going to argue. I can defend myself, and I can stand alone, and I've been standing alone all along, so I'm not going to worry about it. But here's what I want you to do. When the liberal is speaking, these are liberal views. These are not conservative views. You can't interrupt, because I have liberals on the other side here that are watching and listening to me, and are enjoying my conversation as well. The other conservative that follow you, They will condemn all of my statement and what have you, but that they don't bother me. I got people, liberals, that are listening to me, and they know my views are liberal and they appreciate that. So will you please let the liberal express himself? Now let me go back to that statement that I was making. People now going to say, is it because Kumi, and I'm just speculating, refused to go second to Dr. Barker? People, some of your conservative viewers been writing, oh, Dr. Barker being invited Kumi to a meeting. How come Kumi hasn't gone? Well, please save me that conservative view that you guys are writing. When Kumi was invited, when the people were getting ready to crown Dr. Barker, Kumi was invited. This was unfair. This intellectualist dishonesty at the height. Kumi is vying for the CPC CPP Alexander bearership. So is Dr. Barker, and you want Kumi to consider and watch you crown Dr. Barker, his opposition person who is going to compete with? Is that what you want? Is that a fair statement? Is that something you want people to? And then when Kumi refuse, then you're going to come and try to wrap that around his neck and hold him responsible for not trying to help you to cheat. Kumi is not a cheater. He's not going to allow you to come and cheat alone. That's why Kumi didn't go to that. Mr. So, as far as Honorable McGill and his people getting involved, like I said, Kumi, Honorable McGill feels there's no fish in here for McGill, Honorable McGill and Dr. Weah to fry in this Kumi and Urisaka. They got nothing here. The only reason why I believe if Minister McGill is truly involved, the only reason I believe he's getting involved, because perhaps he feel within himself maybe that Costa has something he can get from Costa, which have to do with the charter of the sanction list. Remember, if they put you on that sanction list, people will find it difficult. International community will find it difficult to do business with you. And Minister McGill is somebody who is out there. So perhaps he thinks by moving Costa back into his net, maybe Costa then will now, because he maybe believe that Costa have some sort of a linkage to these sanctioned people. So then Costa going to Mr. So I'm speaking. Mr. So the liberal is on. So then McGill is going on there thinking that Costa can help it. In the meantime, Costa, being as smart as he is, a very intelligent young man as he is, recognize that Minister McGill has put himself in his net. Minister McGill now going to say, well, maybe there's a backroom deal. Okay, I give you this. I want you to go with this. So Minister McGill having some sort of a connection with the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, hoping that Minister McGill now going to do whatever it is to work for them. Now, finally, Mr. So, if all that I've been saying here, if they are true, that Minister McGill and the people are now trying to have some sort of collusion to try to go after Honorable Cummings, this is what I got to tell them. They got another thing coming, because Cummings is not done yet. Cummings would dance all over there. Cummings and his people would dance in the street of Monrovia. Right now, as the central right correctly stated, everyone else is quiet right now. Cummings and his people are the one that making the rounds on the network in Monrovia, because they know that this thing is in their corner and they're going to milk it all the way to the bank. Mr. So, this is politics at its best, and I'm enjoying Liberian politics. I just hope that these people will keep it safe, no violence. Let's see mano, who can talk, who has the strategy. This is what we want.
Before we take a quick break here, did I hear you saying probably McGill feels that there's maybe Costa might have had a date on him, or Costa will influence a decision if there's a sanction to be placed on him? Are you saying is that why?
That's exactly what the liberal is suggesting.
Let's take a break and we'll be right back. It's taking it unprecedented turn, and is going to get ugly comes the 2023 presidential elections. There were four major political parties came together under the banner of collaboration. political pundits and others sees this as uh, that it wouldn't have survived. Knowing the history of the collaborations in past years within the Liberian politics, it was just very difficult for one to grab it, to make sense out of it, that these things will have reached this far. Here we come, not even in the middle of the process, the whole thing is torn apart. This is a crazy scenario that have let the electorates down because these collaboration parties were seen as alternative to the CDC. Here we are, it's falling apart. One of the collaborators is now being allegedly accused as criminal or someone who illegally tamper with the documents that has to do with the framework. This is quite amazing. We have not heard anything from the Election Commission. Is because it is the institution that presides over electoral process, and it is the Election Commissions that gave these political parties this sort of framework status. So I am curious here to know uh, this document. If this document was a fraudulent document, why should the collaboration should still be in place and one person is leaving the process? This is quite fascinating, and we will follow the lead. Okay, let's have our guys back here. The most liberal on this network, Amos Joyce. We're going to be putting the number out now, to accommodate phone calls and get a reaction from our viewers, from Liberians, from independents, from seditions, from Liberty Partisans, Unity Partisans, and all of that. Let's put this number out here, folks. You can make your call.
Mr. So, Mr. So, let
Mhm.
me make one because that's one thing our audience, they're very smart and they listen to us and they question. Yes, they, as far as on the book is concerned, here they said Liberia with the extradition treaty back in 1930, 37, and it's still on. Nothing has changed as far as
It has not, it's supposed to be renewed. Let it tell
well, but
when Charles
Okay.
Taylor should have been
Okay.
yeah,
careful not
Let's
to do
but
that.
let's
I
try
understand
taking.
all of that. I'm just saying from what I've been reading, there's nothing in here that call for renewal. They're just
Okay.
telling me that this thing is happening so that
All
you
right.
can go and look at it.
Let's go to the first caller here. Let me take this number here. 612 number 7000274. Caller, good evening. What's your name and what are you calling from? What's the point?
Thank you, Mr. So. My name is Elvis. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Elvis, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I just quickly want to say thank you for your show, and I just want to say I'm very proud of your platform. You know, you guys have slowly built up a loyal audience, and you take what you do seriously, and I think we all appreciate you. I just want to put that out there to all the panelists, Mr. To, Mr. George, and the new panelists that joined, Mr. Weir. We all want to thank you guys for the job well done. And let me quickly get to my point. You know, I'm not a lawyer, but I know a little bit about how the process will work.
Mm.
You know, the first phase of a case is always what I call discovery. That's when both lawyers get into the room, and each side will see the evidence that each side has against them. And there's a theory in law called the fruit of the poisonous tree, and that
Wait,
theory
wait,
states
wait,
that
wait, my man.
any evidence that is gotten from a corrupt source, whether it's good enough good enough to adjudicate or to exonerate the defendant, it can be used in the court of law because it's then contaminated by the truth or the source that it was gotten from. So I think Mr. Cummings have a good case on that point because the source of the evidence that Ben Ayura got was probably from a poisonous source, so he probably can't use it.
Okay.
But just one last point before I go. I just want to say to Mr. Soul point on Henry Costa. I think Henry Costa is right, even though I don't like him, but he's right on the point that any case that you take against a person and if the government prosecute, they're therefore by proxy working for you in theory, you know. So I think on that point he was correct. So thank you very much, Mr. Soul.
Okay, so quickly before you go, since we don't have let me just tap into your own line as a Liberian. What is your level of concern with these leaks that has been published with this sort of communications ongoing here? What does that speak to?
And again, the same thing I'm saying. How did they obtain this information? If it was from a corrupt source or from some kind of hacking or some kind of leaking of the document, that's when the court have to get into it. If it was a private message that was leaked out, that then it can be admissible in court. They have to get the source of who gave it to them.
Yeah.
But the
So on the
reality is,
Mhm.
Henry Costa being a big mouth person wants to show that he's so well connected. And again, I told you about Ben Ayre. That guy is very well connected from his nation, his Masonic days. I keep saying this. Even to Mr. George, you know the people in Bon County, they were not even if you said representative, you're not part of the Borough Society. Everything in that country is about society. You guys have to look deeper into that too because it takes a lot to and one of the things that Mr. Comey have against him, he's not a part of the club. He's not a part of the club, either on the traditional side or the so-called civilized side. That's why they kind of ostracize him from the club, from the political club.
Okay,
So
thank you
that's
so
all.
much. All right, let me go to the other caller here. Guys, hold on. Let's get this other caller here. Let's get the views of Liberians also concerning to what is happening in their country. 314 number tie 0461. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Thank you so much, Honorable To. So this is Emmanuel Zaza calling you from the state of Rhode Island.
Right here from the Ocean State. Zaza, good evening. So welcome. What's the what's your point?
Yeah, thank you so much. My point has to do with the way some Liberian take Liberia to be like a little trash. And what do I mean? There's no American or no American lobbyist who discourage the court, father, or maybe because Joe Biden is in court, Joe Biden is a godfather, or maybe Obama is in court. And that's what most of us are doing.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. The other caller there, please get into a quiet area, so that other people mute your phone here until I come to you, please, to the other right. Okay, Emmanuel, go ahead quickly. Let's make it.
Yeah. So, like I'm saying, that's what most of the people are doing. Kumi is in court, and all those that are connected to Kumi make it to appear like every other Liberian is a trash. Then is a Liberian. He hasn't gone to court, or his right is not seized. He still has the right to enjoy the rights of any other citizen can enjoy. The man is taking someone to court for a reason that he still is injuring his rights. And everyone is everywhere. Those who are connected to Kumi are writing everywhere and making it appear like Benajue is a demon, or how to call his name. Solicitor General is a worst thing. The Minister of State, and they're making everything. They are already jeopardizing the case. And they say they want justice. But they're jeopardizing the case and making it appear like the justice system is not there because Kumi is in court. I think it's wrong. We need to start that. Get the justice system the chance. Let's go to a conclusion. Then we just check from the conclusion.
Thank you so much.
The entire thing because you think your godfather is in court. That's wrong. It's an insult to Liberia. We should stop that.
Thank you so much. Well, views expressed here not in any way represent the views and managements of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do facilitate this high-call conversation. Let's go to, I believe he is in the front of the base, state here, tie 978 number 9986. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Thank you, sir. Lawrence Iglesias calling from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, live free, die free. Let's see what's happening here. You guys, you want to have insurance, you have it. You don't want to have it, that you're born many. So
Yeah.
let's hear from you. I'm quite sure you are concerned what is happening within your own country, Liberia, the way, the context, the directions of politics, how divisive and polarized it has become. What is your concern?
Well, thank you very much. I have listened to the show, and I want to thank you for the show and what you guys, helping to inform the Liberian people about what's unfolding in our country. Is sad, but So again, it's politics. And Mr. Toll, thank you for your liberation and all of the cannabis. I want to disagree with the previous caller to some extent that Liberia, this is the first case in my entire life to see how expeditiously they have been able to dedicate resources to the case and to have everybody attention drawn to the case, even though it's a high profile case. I don't, there's no doubt about that. But with the amount of cases that are on the docket in the Liberian court, even at the Supreme Court, that our government are not seeing reason to dedicate resources to those relevant cases. But these political parties in misfortune they brought upon themselves to have Liberia, the Liberian government dedicate so much time and resources to it. I'm amazed. It's so fascinating to me, and my disappointment comes from all of the political parties. Mr. Comey is not excluded. They should have shown much more leadership than we expected of them, but they have broken the Liberian people down. And we would need them as leaders, even with where we are now, to see reason that the country needs to be delivered from the hands of John Weah and his crony.
Okay, before I let you go to Judge Weah, I'm not sure what a Judge Weah folks who not been gone through the process of judicial assistant and crony. But let me just ask you, do you still believe there's a collaboration still in place, seeing what is unfolding right now?
No, there's no collaboration.
Yes,
everybody want to go their separate ways.
So
That's my conclusion.
yeah, so they are wasting our time giving us for nothing migrant,
They're
correct?
just wasting our time. They're just wasting our time. And,
Oh,
if I were to market somebody on your show tonight, I would say you ought to start looking at other candidates like Tiawan Gonklo and the rest of the people.
that's exactly what I was talking. But unfortunately, my dear brother, these guys, they are quiet, they are eating oatmeal, they are having fun sleep, and they are allowing this crazy case to just take away because the media loves sensationals and stuff. They're yet to find the ground. Wait a minute. So where are you?
We will start making rounds with Tiawan.
Tiawan Gonglo, we are reached out with the campaigns and they have put a bureaucratic system in place to go through the. I just
we
do.
will break through that bureaucracy. Trust me, we'll break through that bureaucracy. We need Liberia to be the. We all need a better Liberia, and
Okay.
we all must labor for a better Liberia.
All right, I will get your number and make a follow through. Probably you have to break that chain of bureaucracy.
I will break that chain of bureaucracy once you get to me.
Okay, all right, okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Let me go to the next number here, I believe from Minnesota with a 612 number 177. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Mr. Alfonso, this is Lasan. I'm calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, Lazo, if you were to call you, good evening, so welcome.
Yeah, happy to hear you guys.
Yeah, are you kind of a little frustrated like myself to see what is happening with our country? What's your thoughts and how can we get out of this? We need to find a remedy. We can't just talk about the problems without finding solution. Do you have an idea how we can get out of this whole crazy stuff?
Yes.
Let's hear from you.
What I would say first is like we all monitor this station, but I see some injustice sometimes, especially we know whenever you think you are for everybody, always want for people to critique every individual, all Canadians, especially Comey, Buckeye, and the right. But whenever there is politics, your caution be on one person most often.
Okay.
I see that there is no justice because sometimes let us critique everybody, every individual by their eyes. If you look at Mr. Comey from the initial stage, you look at Buckeye, especially before coming to this stage, be alert because there is many occasions he claimed himself to be a clean man. He defied his other friend. whenever they call you, say he's not invited.
Who is that now? Who are you referring to? That's quite interesting. Comments. Okay.
When it relates to Bokai.
Mm.
So I see people believing why Bokai can't solve these issues, but he being a chairman to call. How many times Bokai have called me to attend a meeting and he said he was not invited?
Tell her how many times. Tell her how many times you've been called to a meeting.
Eh?
Tell us how many times you have been called to a meeting.
3 different times. 2 different times.
2.
Yeah.
And he refused all 2.
And he refusing all.
Do you know the reason?
He came out with a reason. He said there was not proper agenda. Because he's going for meeting, there should be a meeting agenda sent to him before going.
Yeah, okay, that's why. Hold on 1 second there. We all 2 must be held accountable of our thing. My guy is going to wait there. There's a time allotted here. Do you think it's fair? I'm just taking a holistic approach on this here because this conversation was the same thing in the past. You remember when before, I think the June 7th, the president, the government, they were calling the people. Do you think it makes sense when you call someone for a meeting to share the agenda with the person? Because the reason you call that meeting, you need the person input. Do you think it's fair when I call you for a meeting to know where you're coming from?
It depends. If you're not aware of the occasion, but there is a collaboration. You guys start before going for meeting. You are aware.
So what's the substance? What's the point? What's the point of the meeting? Why he coming was called alone? What was the point of the meeting? Or do you know why it sent us around?
No, he alone was not called, especially at the time.
Yeah.
They would send the leadership to Bokai. He gives another excuse again. Okay? These are things that we take. And you look at the conflict between this reason why if you look at OKSN, all the call that call that was totally against Mr. Kwame. It's because people analyze issues wherein there was a situation to Liberty Party headquarters. You know, there's conflict. If you living to go there, first stop that conflict. You being a best man among them. So for me, we solve that issue.
Okay, quickly before I know other people calling here.
Okay, let me come to, because that should be, I'm just saying something that we need to complete every individual.
Okay.
It's not just be one side. So then let me come to the alleged error, like the previous callers that say that considered to be a criminal. Sometimes if you go through the court system, the evidence you bring, they may likely weight the case based on your past record.
Okay, quickly, let me do this here. Let me do this here because I'm running out of time. Next person here. Let me put the case on your lap and for you to be the chief presiding officer. Cut the case here for me. Let's see. I said, cut this whole case here because they're giving you a headache down. You be the judge of this case here. Cut this case and see whether we can make that recommendations. Who's going wrong? Who is right?
Well, you know, anybody that is accused, you are not. This is the reason why one of the laws will always tell you that when you are alleged, even policemen are supposed to call you criminal until found guilty. Prove it beyond reasonable doubt. We can be calling somebody alleged person, alleged criminal. You don't even have to use that criminal. Just alleged. That alone is it. If you are alleged, like the way Mr. Comey looking, Mr. Comey, if you see the services,
but let's get it right now. If they call you alleged rapper, that does not suggest that you are a rapper.
If you are alleged, it means that it has to be proven.
No, you said they don't need to call criminal. I am not saying he's a criminal, but what I'm saying, because sometimes people have a different ways and forms of interpreting words in their own way to satisfy them. That's the problem that we are having. If you call me a alleged row or a criminal, it does not suggest I'm a row, I'm a criminal until I have my day in court. You don't think so?
Yes, that is true. The Constitution Article 17. If you look at
thank you so much, my man. Let me go to the next person here. Thank you so much. Let me go to 313 and be going back to my guys. 313-4226. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, how you doing, Loli?
Yeah, how are you? Good evening, welcome.
All right. This is Bud Ibrahim. I'm calling from Cedar Rapids to be specific in Iowa.
Yeah, go ahead.
All of this Rama Road that going on, I blame Brother Kumesh. Let's be fair here. You see, we the Liberians, when things is coming up, Within point,
you blame
we
who?
cannot.
You say you blame who?
I'm blaming Mr. Cummings.
Why?
Okay, I will give you my reason why. The thing is going on in Liberia. We don't come up quickly to talk about it. But when it reaches a certain point, then we come out to say what we are saying today. I remember 2 months ago, a judge, Mr. To, you and other panelists on your show, let me speak directly to you, Mr. So. You said something that I really liked at that time. You said when Liberians are coming together, sometimes something happens and you put things together. 1997 presidential and general elections. You said something I was very, very happy that collaborations in Liberia cannot work. And it will never work. It been our country's history. Then Mr. Tu came on, he was talking about because why now? Why now we Liberians who cannot stand in front of somebody and say, look, this is wrong. As our brother just said, the last caller before me just said, in an organization, even if somebody wrong you, as Mr. To one time said, when somebody wrong you, go there, sit down. Once ever, I will not sit by judge. I will not sit by judge. I will not see Mr. So. I will not see Mr. To in the same room, even if I'm mad. When these people are talking, when you people are talking to me, it will ease down some of my anger.
Let's get to the point quickly here. We are running out of time.
And say, look, I'm wrong, or you people are wrong. Those of you will stand back to tell me, say, you know what, we wrong you or you wrong us. When somebody says you wrong, just tell the person, say, okay, now, today, as I say always, Mr. Cummings should have fired Elisha Stowe.
Why?
The reason is this. I know, or we all have the belief that Mr. Cummings will not do this. But those that he surrounded himself with, I'm saying that all the time, there will come a time that people will come and say, we damage this man, good integrity that he fought for over 40 years. Mr. Cummings will now go and see himself as a political figure in our country and say, let me do this. You know, things
so
are
okay, let's okay, quickly here. I gotta go. So do you, is that Comey is the problem or Elisha Stowe is the problem?
Let me say this to the Liberian people. Let me say this for fact to the Liberian people. Elisha Stowe misled this good man that walked, that came in this country, went to school, walked his way through the ladder, went up there. He's never advising good.
Is he the only advisor to Cummings, Elisha Stowe?
I'm blaming Elisha Stowe because he's the Secretary General of
ANC. Is that fair to do that when you have an organization that runs the executive committee and you want to sing of
yeah, I'm figuring him out because he's a lawyer. He should know better.
Wow.
He's a lawyer because of his position.
Okay, so how
because
come
of what he do in Liberia?
How
because
come
of the little bit advocacy that he went through in Liberia? Mr. Cummings talks in. Look,
okay, hold on.
I'm saying this thing tomorrow or day after you will come and say, but say this thing.
Yeah.
On the 10th of January 2022.
Okay, but this is the same man recently. Hold on 1 second.
That Cummings is going through this thing, and Cummings will say it in future, not now.
Yeah, but recently you were on SK-TV. I was monitoring, and you squarely and purely said that Joseph Boyka is responsible. Cummings didn't do anything wrong. So how can less than a day?
I never said it, Mr. So. I never said it. I never said it. I said what I said, and this is what I'm saying. I never said Mr. Barker was responsible. No. Sekou asked me. Sekou always accused me of being supporter of Barker. I said, Sekou, I have my own political party, which is vote. I am a sympathizer of Mr. Barker because of what they did to Mr. Barker 2017. There's our other people.
All right.
No, I never said it.
Okay.
I never said it. I keep saying it. I me, Chairman Sekou, that I told this thing to my beloved sister, Yasindi, and she came, she said, that was lie. I said, okay, but me, I will not lie on you. You my beloved sister from Nima County. You are one of the educated sisters from Nima County.
All right, thank you so much.
Tomorrow, Mr. So, you always say it. You always say, but did not say it. I repeated what you said 2 months ago. I repeated what I just said 2 months ago. I repeated what Mr. Toe said 2 months ago. Because when you say that, you say that liberal reality coming now into them. You see that? You see how life goes?
All right, thank you so much. Let me go. Okay, gentlemen. This is very interesting. You know, people forget when they talk things, they go to the millions of online network, which is okay. You can go process and get news. But you talk here, you come, you talk one thing there, he went there, and he and Sekou, Moses. There was a clash of the Titans, and they say, well, how can you flip in a I think, who's this person here? Please bear with me. Let's have this last person so we'll wrap up. Hello, caller. Are you there? Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, caller. Are you there? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Alex. I'm calling from South South Dakota.
Okay, welcome. Make your point. You are, oh, geez, are phone calls still coming? Go ahead. That's you, the last caller for the day.
Thank you. And thanks to all the panel on the show tonight. You know, I've been listening since the show began. But like, usually, day one, you know, I support ANC. I'm from ANC. But like, he will always come and accuse Lordship too. Why? And he have a party, which Mr. Gongo, but he will not, anytime he have an opportunity, he will not come and talk about his candidate. But I don't know, like, the one the people call put your 40 portable haribo. He won't be in Unity Party. He won't be in Gongo Party. I don't know where he people are confusing about doing people. I respect him a lot, but all the time he get it, he get a habit of hating or coming. That's good, but at least talk about your candidate. What good you think your candidate can do? They all sit down there when it is beginning. Anything they discuss, then you will take it to Henry Costa. Henry Costa will bring it out. Anything they discuss behind closed door, it will always come up. Oh, come in like this, come in like this. How did you commission continue to come up? They say, oh no, at the end, Henry Costa will come up. I have no position in that. I just a flow memo. Use a flow memo, but anything they put discuss, you will bring it out. So, Padenoa, you need to stop the thing you're doing. If you want to convince me for you to be able to support, how you call Congress, convince me, let me go and support the man. But don't just come all the time and he said the thing what you just accused him on Sekou show, and he said it. But now he can't say no. He said that thing I told Yatini, and Yatini went and debunking that what he continued to be doing by the people. Probably you must stop. Bring about your candidate that if you want to leave up, if he want to leave the party and come join Joseph Baka, you're welcome. But don't put your foot to your forehead. So thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. So this is the problem that we are having. Padenoa and the liberal, they are from in the same place. They play the same playbook. The liberal has his own party, guys. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are hearing.
The liberal has his own party. Are you communicating with Yombly?
Listening to you. As usual, when you're speaking, the liberal will not interrupt.
Yeah, but you need to start playing with. You don't be you
Mr.
playing games
So,
on you playing games on your phone.
why
I
would I
think
want to play game on my phone?
Yeah,
I think
because
Senator Lamine has
or
simply
you want to be leaking another information. This is public, so. But yeah, here's the thing here. As good people are listening, we Liberians, part of what is happening, we are part of the problems because we want to remain inconsistent. We want to be in multiple places at the same time. We need to take a stand with our decisions, and that's what people are respected for. Yeah, you come, so you say one thing, you come on the other side, you say another thing, and then when you are caught into it, you want to reconstruct. I don't, I can, the only way I'll be a sympathizer unless I do not have a stake in something. That's the same type of games the Liberal is playing. The Liberal have a party. They are unable to, a party that has been in existence for quite a while now, should be able to produce a candidate. But because of the instability within that same very Liberty Party, they are unable to put anybody forward. And for them to be a good deal breaker, and I said this here, by the time Darius DeLong, Benana Ure, what his name, who's the other person? By the time they came out with this early endorsement without allowing the process to play out, I knew exactly this train was derailed. And that's exactly it is what it is right now. Because, and I look at the firmware document, that means there was no really basic rule to ensure that this their collaboration stick together. Anyway, I knew it wasn't going to work because the starting point was not a good one at all. We knew these people have their own political agenda and they were very dishonest to the Liberian people. See where we are now. He's texting, he's sending messages now to his own people too as well. Go ahead, send your messages. So here we are. They have their own party, but they are sympathizers or they are supporters. The same work of the Liberal, that's what they got in. Yeah, even though he can be president, but he can't be now. He should go on. Come on. We are not in a maneuver age. If you agree to a stipulation, if you agree to the process, allow this process to play out. But because of their inconsistency, insecurity, they get us to be where we are today, and we are having all of this headache here.
Wow.
So George.
Yeah.
I think the Liberal is done with his final
Yeah.
statement, so we're going to be.
But of course, as usual, you're going to now trying to sanction me, but it's not going to work.
So, okay, let's, gentlemen, I think quite fascinating here. But these leaks is alarming though. If we see more to come out, and I anticipate there should. That's what media does. They release them by consignment in order to keep the conversations rolling over and over and over. This is where the Gonglo, where his name is Kase, needs to figure out something to steal the show. Gonglo, we have learned, will in the eventually will pivot towards the Unity Party. He's there to stabilize where his name Prince Johnson comes to presidential election. But politicians, you can put your hair on the chopping board for them. Go ahead, Pa George, your final.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Unity Party, I've heard Gumbo press conference several times. He said he cannot align himself with criminals. So if that is true, then he got more questions to answer. The Unity Party.
Who are the criminals? Did he name who are the criminals?
He said he didn't name
our
them.
information is still out there to him too.
He said he don't want to see the people who got some tainted character. And if what you're saying is true, then he got more questions to answer. Because he worked for that Unity Party before. And that Unity Party 12 years, they got so many questions to answer to the Liberian people. But let me just leave it on that note there. But here's the thing here. Some people, one of the callers said something, one or two of them caught my attention. This leaked document did not come from the United States government. This document, a former lobbyist was the one that was speaking, said that this thing is claiming people's attention in Washington and was sending a message told the ambassador, alleged message to the Liberian ambassador to relate to the government of Liberia. So
yeah, Ambassador Patain.
Yeah, so this message did not come from the United States government. It was this lobby of Ms. River Livingston, whoever, was talking, telling the government, hey, the ambassador, this is what the people are looking at. So the message did not come from the United States government directly. It was some former lobby from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that was speaking to the ambassador. And the ambassador sent that letter to Natalia Mange according to sources. Natalia Mange then forwarded the letter to Benina Ure. Ure then forwarded the message to his son, Henry Costa. So that was the thing. As the other person says something, the Ghana, so we talk about recovery. And the other part, let me put someone do some of the research. The process, the young man said, the recovery process is the first thing that the prosecution will have to displace all the evidence to the defendant, the lawyer of the defense, and they will go through those evidences and look at it and say, yeah, this one, okay, this one, because you cannot hold any evidence from the defense as a prosecutor. You must make sure they are aware, the defendant, the lawyers of the defendant are aware of those evidence. If you hold it, they'll go to raise an issue there. So those are the things they talk about, and he talk about credibility, because take for example, if someone go to testify in court in America and that person has a criminal record, the other side would challenge his credibility. The evidence that people do will be challenged by the other side to say, hey, this guy cannot testify because he is a criminal, he had lied before. So they will ask that evidence to be thrown or that testimony to be thrown out of court. So Benina Ure has a record, a history. He did it with Bronskin before. So then people can raise those issues. So my people, let us take the sentiment out of this issue. Look at it. If you don't understand, go and ask somebody. But don't just come and conclude, oh, the other person.
Let me ask the guy from Kenya, Nairobi here. Let me ask him here to try and put the cap on the head, because I know the Liberal are going to come up with something that will drop everybody nuts before we get out of this place here tonight. Hey, look, Marcus. What is concerning these leaks is unprecedented. I don't know what impact you're going to play on this case as well, because one of the interest persons in this case, I already pointed out of certain things being some sort of invisible hand or people that are involved, and we're seeing all of this coming out here. What we're going to see in the coming days relative to what is happening right now.
Like I said before, the issue of having conversation with these people is not a bad thing, but the nature of the conversation is something that we need to question. Why did they discuss, and why have they decided to discuss such thing at this time? You know, those are some of the issues. And I call into what I'm reading here. The message was sent to how do you call him, Minister Mangeo. Minister Mangeo went and forwarded messages to the ALP political leader. You understand? But initially, these messages were sent to the Liberian ambassador to the United States of America, Ambassador George Patton.
Yes.
Yes. So you see these kind of issues. So it's something that requires thorough investigation and thorough thinking. We have to put on our thinking cap. Let us not jump and into conclusion and think that these are just mere discussion in Monrovia or on Broad Street. This is something that is beyond the territorial the borders of Liberia. It's beyond. It's something that we have to think about critically. So even if it is about Kumis, but it's something that the government also maybe there is an interest. There is something that they want to protect, one way or the other, because this is international politics.
Example, they're protecting.
Yeah, this is international politics. This is something
No,
that
what are they protecting? What could be a perfect example?
Oh, I mean, like like people are as presuming, that, you know, there are some sanctioned individuals who have been placed on sanction, all the stuff, and probably they want to get those people named off the sanction list. So
Sanction
that's
is
why
not
they
covered.
want.
I don't understand. Don't preach the soundbite of the liberal progressive or somebody doing this sanction thing here because they want to.
Yeah,
Sanction
because
doesn't come overnight. Because when you are on sanction, believe me or not, you can't even do a bank transaction. You can't even do anything. No, you can't do no business. So it's not an overnight thing. Those are things
yeah, that's why. That's why.
don't buy into the liberal conspiracy.
That's why
Mr. Wade, they talk about Darcy. The Darcy, the lady mentioned. She mentioned the Darcy and the people names in that communication.
Let him carry his point because we
Yeah,
are
but
time.
I just said
You want to speak?
some individual because I don't want to. I don't want to. How you call it? Agree 100% with whatever that is being said until it is proven. Because somebody might come out and tell you that, oh no, somebody fake my account, somebody use my name, all that kind of stuff. We are in a technology, we are in a world that is so advanced. So you see, now the other issue is that, this issue of Kumis, like somebody said, Kumis has a lot of good guys. Asava Toba is a very smart, big brother that I've been following even when he was with the CDC. He's one of those persons that made CDC to gain ground in the United States when he was, I think, the chairperson of the CDC, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he's a very smart man. So when he came to the ANC, we thought that the ANC would have been on top of everything because Mr. Kumi used, how do we call it, that corporate ideology by bringing individuals of great ideas to come around him. You saw that he brought the former COP, I think Secretary General Moba Yoba and other guys with him because those are smart guys, people who have master degrees, people who have doctorate degree, and they are the people that are around him. But I don't know whether they did not see this thing coming and they couldn't advise him. Normally, you see, let me tell you something serious.
We are running out of time.
Yeah, let me tell you something serious. There are people, you see, sometimes there are some people that know that they are in the wrong, but they rush to raise alarm. You see what is happening here with the issue of Euro going to court and what have you. If Kumi would have been the first person to have gone to court, but now Euro will be the person to be defending, while he now will be providing some pieces of evidence. You understand? But now he's the one defending, how to hire a good lawyers to see how best he can get himself out of this matter. But it is a very serious matter. And again, I don't know what the government of Liberia is trying to protect. If it is because of those government officials who name might likely be on sanction list they want to protect, then the Liberian people shall know.
I don't understand this sanction thing here. This list, almost it's been a long time thing. I don't know why it becomes a news story in recent time here. Let's get the night settled down, and I just tighten your belt because I know he's been keeping time in place.
Yeah, the research.
Yeah, been keeping down note, everything and all of that. So let's wrap the night all here. And I hope we shouldn't have an avalanche at the time we are about to line here this evening. The liberal.
Yes, of course, it's the liberal time. So let's wrap the night up. When the central right was speaking, the night was young. When Nairobi was speaking, the night was young. But now it's my turn, and let's wrap the night up. Mr. So you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't just bring the liberal on and expect to wrap the night up. That is not possible. But let me tell you this. I'll take a different, I mean, I've already expressed to you that this sanction issue is affecting this case and most likely will continue to affect it. Because look what if you read our paper, they said there's another smart move they made that by pointing out that the judge is also being looked at. Now, these are now. Well, how sure are we what this whole thing originated? Where they come from? Perhaps it's a little. Look, there are some smart people that are involved into Liberian politics. There's no question. So this is all. I'm not going to go into the deeper speculation, but let me say this to you. Interesting thing is happening here as well. Kumi is well connected with the international community. A year or so ago, the international community, specifically the United States, was saying that the judiciary system in Liberia is corrupt. Now, the Chief Justice is not someone who is isolated. So the Chief Justice, these are cases that perhaps he's going to pay keen attention to say we can't blow this. This thing must be done so that the international community will know that we are truthful people in this country. Kumi is connected. Kumi is going to quote, as a liberal and as a political junkie, I love this case already. This is going to be very interesting. Now, Honorable McGill and the people and even Honorable Seavers will try to manipulate whatever they will not be successful because of what I just lay out. I truly believe that the Chief Justice most likely have had conversation with the judge to say this must be done according to the book. You can't do anything because people are watching. Kumi is not Samson Toe. Kumi is Honorable Alexander Kumi, former chief executive of members of some kind of a big shot with the Coca-Cola company. These people are not somebody small. So you can't just grab Kumi like something to and throw in jail. It ain't happening in Liberia. Interesting. And so, Mr. So, look, let me tell you this. I know the three of you are somehow Mr. So, will you please let the liberal speak? I know the three of you are kind of surprised tonight that most of the favorable comments are coming to me and they're making reference to my previous statement. Even I'm happy to have Mr. George and Mr. Weir come in my liberal way, expressing that the fact that I was the first to point it out about this sanction deal, and they find credible speculation. It's credible, and they're making reference to that. I feel proud. I feel very proud to be among you, to sit here and people making reference to my statement while I'm still alive. It's just like when Honorable Jefferson Kochi came out here and made reference to the liberal. These are kinds of things that the liberal progressive, because of my liberal view, I'm being recognized all over the world. Mr. So, lastly, let me say to Mr. Weir, please. The young man, Costa, is not a criminal. Costa is very intelligent, and Costa. Mr. Central Right, may I finish my statement? Costa continue to put sand in the gallery of the people who think they're going to protect us. Look how he has a McGill wrap around his finger. Mr. So, let me say this lastly. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity once again, but I want you to make sure that when the liberal is time to speak, please, you must be liberal with your voice and your tone of voice and your language you use. You must be liberal to that. In other words, you allow the two gentlemen who that are in your corner already, you allow them to speak freely. But then when the liberal comes on board, then you say the night is too short, we must wrap it up. Mr. So, people see you and think you're being unfair to the liberal, and that your behavior towards the liberal as a conservative is getting over the top, and that you and your central right going to need to moderate. And that's exactly the words you use for Nairobi. You call him Monroe. Mr. So how do you know that? He has not expressed any view here tonight that is Monroe whatsoever. Most of his view are all conservative view. Why were you giving that title? Because you feel that he's part of it. I want to say thank you to all of the audience, my liberal follower. Thank you guys very much. I'm here. Don't worry. These three people will not win the day. I'm here as a counterweight. I will try my best to give them the liberal side of things. Mr. So, Mr. Weir, Mr. George, thank you very much, and I'll say good night to all of you.
Where are you going?
So,
it's
a
show over.
Yeah, the time is up, right? You have your time to speak, all right?
Mr. So, you said the show was over.
Now, what I'm saying, I mean, we are done for the night. It's almost 10. I mean, you had chance to.
Yes. I did express. I have more, but because of the time limit that you put on me, I respect time. I'm a liberal.
Look at Mr. Roberts, Jerome Robert. Thank you, Mr. Cole. What are you telling the man thank you for?
Mr. So.
Okay, let's pick up some of critical comments of you here. Here is Mr. Buto Manen, one of our primetime valuable listeners, always tweeting with good comment. This is Mr. So, what I found you doing of late is whenever comment supporters make false claim, they are not scrutinized by you. But when it is supporter, okay, I believe a Unity Party supporter, that's when you ask all your critical questions. Mr. Buto, start out. What? Okay. So let's see here. There's a guy here. Question for Bobby say, young man, the discussion is about ABC, not other people you're talking about. Okay, these are sampling views. One of our valuable listeners, Mr. Samara Pratt, Samara Pryor say, these people really feel Boyka is entitled to the presidency. Nonsense. Well, those are the views and opinions of the people here. That's what happened when people feel entitled to something. The few other people here, Mr. Fortino Vincent. It is not that they know VP to the chairman and want him to talk. Okay. Galipa Kalaplin. After fighting each other, President will beat you comes 2023. See it?
Calabar.
Yeah, Calabar. I said after fighting each other. And that's exactly what they are doing. They are fighting each other. World Fox Time has caught up with us here this evening. We want to say a big thank you to all of our supporters, followers of Liberia Public Radio. Again, we're here to discuss the issue. We value your comments, your tweets, your sessions. We do not take anything personal here for us as long as it is being expressed in a civil context. You can make observations. You can critique any of the panelists here. That's part of what we should be able to incorporate. This is what this is what our politicians don't incorporate, and that's why we are where we are. And that's why we here at LPR want to empower our followers. Let us not be like a donkey. Do not allow people to ride your back. Only a donkey does that. Stand up to your own political beliefs first and foremost, and that of people that you believe. Let's do a little bit flashback here on comments. Our invitation is still out there to Ambassador Boyka to give in the day as well. And let's see, Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be having an exclusive with Wadi Power is the national treasurer of the Liberty Party. She will be appearing here at 12 noon, 12 Eastern Standard Time. Madam Wadi Power will be my special guest in an exclusive right here on the Liberia Public Radio. Who benefits this? What it means. Liberty Party, they were just in court yesterday or the day before. They still get it. I mean, the whole case is the whole country is just swarmed with cases. All cases.
It's been robbed.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's take a flashback of our man Cummings here on right here on the Liberia Public Radio. And that was quite. I'm hoping when I go to Liberia to meet most of them. The CDC, the Unity Party, this seems to all be in violations of this because it is stipulated in the Constitution, Article 82. You can't do that, and you are part of that collaboration. Is that a head scratching for you to have people that you are collaborating with and they are not respecting the laws on the book as well?
Yeah, to be honest, Alfonso, I can't speak to that because I don't know whether or not it's true that there are allegations that they are violating the law, but the allegations, I don't know the facts. So it would be inappropriate, inopportune for me to speak to the fact, but I've heard the allegations. I hope they're not true, and if they are, I hope they do what they need to do to rectify that. But not appropriate to repeat an allegation that I don't have sufficient knowledge of. What I can say for sure is that the ANC is fully registered. ANC Global is filing all the necessary papers in the U.S. to legitimately accept donations from Liberians in the diaspora.
Okay, all of that comes with accountability, good governance. We don't have to wait until someone gets on the A4, and that's the reason I brought this bill in here, because potentially who might be the next president, whether the A4 or 6-4, you must be held accountable. Let me ask you this question here. This is the second time, potentially will be a second one for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. What happens if Ellis Clement cannot get to the finishing line of this? Where will his political career begin?
So, first of all, I need to say, and this will not surprise you, Alfonso, that I'm confident that we'll get to the finish line. We will do the work. We're working hard. And I also promise you, Liberian people, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, you will see even more work from partisans of the ANC and from myself. Traveling the length and breadth of Liberia, engaging Liberians. So we're going to work even harder to make our case to the Liberian people. But you're also correct. At the end of the day, that decision is ultimately not mine. The decision is that of the Liberian people. It first starts with the partisans of the CPP, and then ultimately the Liberian people will decide between myself and President Weah in 2023. In the unlikely case that I'm not successful, I'm committed to our country. At that point, as a private citizen, I will focus on philanthropy, the Communist Africa Foundation. I will spend more time trying to raise money to fund the foundation, in addition to what is going on to expand and grow that, so we can continue to help Liberians, primarily in education, grow the foundation, other things, focus on education, on STEM education, I might add. And then I will also focus on the business side, hoping that the business environment will improve so that Liberian businesses can be successful and thrive. And so I will focus on the business side as well. And focusing on philanthropy and the business is how I will channel my energy to help the Liberian people if, in the unlikely case, I'm not successful in becoming president of Liberia. I tell people, you bring your ball to the game, they don't choose you, you don't take your ball and leave. We'll stay engaged, we'll stay involved, we'll just help in a different way. We'll not be able to impact all 5 million Liberians, which is our goal, our aspiration, our wish, but we'll be able to help thousands of Liberians, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad legacy. Now, we took my grave, feeling we tried for the presidency, Liberians went in a different direction, it was their choice, it's okay. We're not going to be vexed with anybody. People make choices. It's okay. And then we'll focus on the areas we have some control over, and we'll help the country and impact Liberians in that way.
With all of this sort of explanation here, let me poke into your political mind here a little bit. Why did Alexander Coleman not even take a shot of the senatorial seat for his own country? And why? Because we all frowned on that bill of a lot of things happening. The lawmakers, we saw them rationing too money unbelievably, considering all that is going. Why can't we even start taking a change from in the first branch of government? Why can't you take a shot at the senatorial seat from Maryland County? Why the president?
Yeah, because Alfonso, the reason why we entered politics, and this is a good question, it's an important point. The reason why we entered politics was the desire to impact all 5 million Nigerians.
Okay, well, folks, that's how we're going to leave it. And if you go further down to that interview, he said if he does not succeed comes 2023, that will be the end of his political career. He will be more or less focusing on the philanthropic side of his work, and that will be the end of it. So, but again, politicians, there are so many political correctness statements always factor in when they face the microphone. And when the time comes, they'll say, well, the people ask me to, which of course, when the people call, you have to answer. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being here this evening. And of course, our viewers and listeners, thank you. We're looking forward to have maybe some volunteers or ladies here to form part of the panelists. If they don't come, anybody who wants to be it, let us know. It just comes with commitment and time and energy to have a little thick skin because sometimes they're gonna get under your skin, Just how sometimes we get under the skin of the liberal and then he goes flipping or here having sleepless night for no reason. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Weird. And like we said, guys, I believe we had a conversation. Moving forward, we're going to be coming on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and to accommodate a reasonable time for our men in Kenya, correct? Is that a deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's it. So we'll keep our listeners and viewers posted. We want to thank you so much for your time. Then, gentlemen, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. So, have you received some photos from Yombli?
Oh, the guy. Oh, man, that's not know. He said he's the only person.
I thought the show was over. Okay, well, good night, folks.
All right, have a pleasant evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, folks, that does it this event. I'm Afonso Z and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Well, thank you for your time, your company, your tweet. Let us not give up. It's Liberia is the only country we have to ourselves, and we have to do everything possible we can to protect it. Do not allow these politicians and those who profess to be an advocate to just lead you. Take the lead, take control of yourself, be your own decision maker. How many of us are willing to let go, despite of what is going on, and to be able to have a general conversation? All must be held accountable. Opposition, imposition, talk show hosts, news presenter, pundits, we must all be, including you, our listeners and followers. Our comments must be critically examined. Thank you so much. All right, that's how we're going to be going on here from the voice of Minister Jimaman Walcott, hovering right here on the Liberia Public Radio to let it go. That's our Liberian gospel artist. That's what we do. We showcase some of the goodness and beauty of Liberia.
Yeah, me let it go. Go, 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 go. Go, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give it all to Jesus. Let him take control. Just say to him.
How many of us will give it to the omen? We ourselves who want to take control, we don't want to give it to Jesus because we feel we have our own powers and convictions in finding solutions to the many problems. But it is serious what is happening. We must critically, objectively, not to be so subjective. That is very hard to ignore because we are all humans and there's some sort of innate mind towards people because you have an interest. And that's the difficulties we found ourselves in, even within the media war, because we have folks that are in the entertainment aspect, in the amusement aspect, and also those in the information sharing aspect. Looking all of that factor in the abilities of the viewers and the citizenry to process the information, because there are multiples of informations coming in at the same time. Speculations at a higher level, unconfirmed sources. Of course, that it happens in the media world, but we must be honest, we must be factual, not to just create unnecessary drama to hide the already political tensions that is building in the country. We behind the microphone, the authenticities and the genuineness we bring to the table will help to lead the citizens and electorate the way forward, even if they do not agree with us. But our ability to dash all on the table for the honest conversation, and also giving them the power to make their views and opinions expressed without it being sanctioned, will augur well for our fragile democratic process that we hoping and wish to be transparent, free, and fair. In the process of conducting those free, fair, transparent elections, it comes with responsibility and free and fair conversations with authenticity as well. But the politics in Liberia today is so much divisive, deploying all types of propaganda in order to enhance their political agenda. The inabilities of other opponents to counteract and to make their case is also adding to the already problems that we are facing. So, the media has a greater portion in making sure that the news is evenly proportional, fair, balanced, and objective. I am Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. Have a pleasant evening. May God bless Liberia, bless all of our people, and touch the minds of our leaders in making informed, concrete decisions for the good of the country. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
And individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zhao Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wangarilanga. I am a finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make it see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful